I'm proud to tell you that this video is going to be brought to you by G Fuel, and by using my affiliate link in the pinned comment and in the description box, you'll not only be helping support the channel since it's a affiliate link. I do get a small commission for each sale that's made, so I don't get anything unless you guys purchase it. However, you'll also be able to get some really cool anime themed merchandise as well as energy tubs and different energy formulas. I personally use G Fuel a lot, and when it comes to anime, there's a plethora of different anime to choose from. Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, My Hero Academia, Mobile Suit Gundam, Attack on Titan, and so many other series are available on the website in the form of energy formulas packed with all the vitamins that you need and just enough caffeine to get you going for your day. Right now, G Fuel is running a 25th anniversary campaign for Neopets. Step into the magical world of Neopets and celebrate 25 years of adventure, friendship, and fun with Neopets' 25th anniversary G Fuel Golden Berry Energy Tub. You are not going to be disappointed in the flavor with this one. Absolutely worth every penny for it. I mean, come on, it's called the Great Golden Slushy. Scoutmaster Jigen definitely approves of this one. Which, most importantly, this cannot be understated. Unlike a lot of energy products that are out there, there is no crash and there is zero sugar. Two really huge selling points of why I personally support G Fuel. In typical anime fashion, I am going to need you guys to send me your energy by clicking the affiliate link in the description and in the pinned comment. And when you do so, make sure to use my promo code KAGE to get yourself a discount. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Naruto to explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about the last chapter, which gave Code the biggest rebound when it came to all those Code stocks, and they're definitely on the rebound after this last chapter, which is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, we're going to be taking a look at why you, as a Code fan, should be feeling encouraged by this latest chapter, which is a quick reminder, the chapter review, it is up on the channel. The editor put a lot of love into that one, so make sure to check out the review if you have not seen it already. So in the last chapter, to say that Code stocks, they took a bit of a beating, it was an understatement. If Code was a stock on Wall Street right now, he would be bleeding red. In just one chapter, we watched Code go from spying on the awakened Shinju to getting snatched out of his own claw mark and getting bullied. Jura even told him that basically the only reason he was going to spare him was due to the fact that they owed their existence to Code for creating them. At that point, Code was treated like an afterthought by the Shinju, basically told to go hunt down Boruto for Jura, because on one hand, if Code takes out Boruto, then Jura has what he identified as being a major threat eliminated, and if Code and Boruto both kill each other, then that's a double win for Jura. Both inconveniences are taken care of, yet this all reeks of a classic misdirection here, and I'm going to explain to you why. So Code stocks are crashing, but they are approaching the bottom, which means they're going to start rebounding. For his character, he's being stripped down to nothing, which symbolizes his fate as a failed vessel when you look at the narrative. He's empty and without true purpose for himself. Everything that he's done has been at the behest of others, to be used as a vessel for Ishiki. He likely came from nothing like Kawaki, from a family that did not care for him and sold him like Kawaki's father sold him to Jigen. He barely survived an experiment that killed multiple children who weren't compatible with the Karma Seal. Surviving it gave his life reason in that he began to admire Jigen for being the vessel of Ishiki, then he worshipped Ishiki as a god. He hated Kawaki out of jealousy for being the one compatible with the god who Code worshipped, the god who Kawaki hated with every fiber of his being. His life, it existed for Ishiki, someone who he hadn't even seen, and his hate for Kawaki, it stemmed from everything related to Ishiki. None of this was ever of his own accord. He solely existed for Ishiki. This is further back when you look back at the fact that he again went through another experiment by having Amado's ninja tech pumped into his body. We know based on Kawaki's flashback that not everyone was compatible with the ninja tech, and some of them lost their limbs and needed to get mechanical outward gaudy enhancements like we saw with Gaara and with Ao. He willingly underwent that in order to be of service to Ishiki and Ishiki's vessel Jigen. When Amado's experiments and the Karma Seal made Code stronger than Ishiki's vessel Jigen, he willingly allowed himself to have limiters placed on his body out of deference to Ishiki. Another instance of Code not doing something of his own accord, but instead doing it because it served as Ishiki's best interest. to not have his vessel Jigen be usurped in power. When Jigen was killed by Kashin Koji and Ishiki was killed by Kawaki, he once again was the empty vessel who needed to be filled by a purpose by the god that he worshipped. This time, it was Ishiki telling him that he needed to kill all of those responsible for his death. He needed to feed Boruto or Kawaki to the Ten Tails to create a chakra fruit and then to eat it so he could be transformed into an Otsutsuki. Then he was told to go out into the universe and keep harvesting chakra fruits until Code could become a god himself. It was once again a situation where a person with no purpose was being given a purpose, and this time it was once again being done by Jura, but that's why this time is different. Code looked at the Ten Tails and these awakened shinju as being tools that were meant to serve him and him alone. It was not meant to be the other way around. He was not meant to be getting bossed around by the Ten Tails, whereas with all the other instances where it was Code being given a purpose by people who are either directly connected to Ishiki by Amado, who served Ishiki's vessel Jigen, or by Ishiki's vessel Jigen, or by Ishiki directly himself. This time it's different. This time it's not the case. It's someone, or to be more accurate, it is something that he views as being beneath him that is giving him orders, which is exactly why he is more liable to make the jump with this next move that his character is being positioned to take. When Boruto was getting ganged up on by the shinju, he came across as someone who had a weight lifted from his shoulders. He was going to let the shinju sit there and hunt down Boruto, and he pop out ready and willing to take the chakra fruit when they did so. But until then, he was content to sit there and wait for the day to finally come. Despite Boruto's warnings that he would lose control, he couldn't see what Ada stated a few chapters ago, which is that Code was out of his element in the moment. They were way outside of his league. He was the useless one now. The realization has to hit Code now. He knows Jura has no intention to give him the chakra fruit, or at the very least, he should know that Jura has no intention of giving him the chakra fruit. Amado and Ada and Kawaki and Bug, they all called Code stupid, both for his actions as well as his limited capacity to put coherent thoughts beyond simple applications of concepts into words. Look at where he is in this moment right now. He was called a clown directly to his face by Matsuri. He was called trash by Momoshiki, but the Matsuri one is most disrespectful. One of the shinju that Code ended up creating. He is basically her parent, yet she views him as being a clown, something that is meant for her amusement to be enjoyed on a limited basis and then discarded afterwards, to never be thought of ever again after that, is one of the highest forms of disrespect that a character can undergo. In this new chapter, Code was held hostage like a Disney princess. The same way you see a Disney princess in the classic Disney movies, held up in the tower, waiting to be rescued. Code was being held up by his throat by Ryu, like he was nothing more than trash. The other shinju, particularly Momoshi, they were laughing at him. He was an afterthought, not truly meant to be taken seriously by any of them. However, unlike the Disney princess, who they had the brave knight who came to save them and slay the dragon or the beast that was guarding them, Code was left out abandoned, waiting for Jura to save his life to be spared. And we could argue he only spared him on a mere whim because Jura thought Code's life might be worthy or something. And worst case, he might have just viewed it as amusement to see Code struggle to carry out his new purpose. Ryu even asked Jura after Code leaves. Despite Code talking trash the whole time he was leaving, Ryu asked if the next time he sees Code, if he can just kill him. Jura flat out tells Ryu he is free to do whatever he wishes with Code. He is expendable. They're talking about killing the guy for fun, for sport. There is zero interest on their part. There is zero respect on their part for a guy whose power exceeds Jigen and was responsible for giving them life. They see him nothing more as a mere errand to run whenever they have spare time. In real life, when Masashi Kishimoto stepped back into the story as more than just an editor, we have confirmation from Kishimoto and Ikimoto that Kishi's original draft plans for Code were to kill him and to kill him off. But Ikimoto fought and they argued in what each of them described as being a heated debate on why Code should be kept alive. This makes even more sense when you go back to what Kodachi, the former writer of Boruto, said years ago in 2016, where he stated that Boruto's story, when they were mapping it out, They took inspiration from what My Hero Academia was doing, which makes a lot of sense. Kishimoto was one of the first Jump mangaka to speak out in support of My Hero Academia when it was first getting serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump, and Kodachi was a huge fan of it. Who is the one My Hero Academia character who shares some of the overlap with Code? It is Shigaraki. He is supposed to be this big bad guy, yet all he did was eat L after L after L for a majority of the series. At some points of the story, he felt like an afterthought because there were other threats that were at the front and center, but the whole time Shigaraki was quietly being built up in the background to be the major threat that we see in the final arc of the story. That's not to say that Code will be the final villain or anything like that, or anything of that nature. There are aspects of Shigaraki that exist in both how he is the villain who has taken L's and being seemingly built up in the background, and Kawaki, who on top of taking all these L's, you had Shigaraki, who is connected to Deku with his hero goal, just as Boruto is connected to Kawaki, which if you know, you know, since My Hero Academia is going into the final arc of the anime next year. So I'm not going to spoil, but people who read the manga, you know the connection I'm making here. So I do believe we're in a position where Code, he does start his comeback season. Not without taking any more L's. He's not going to go undefeated. He's going to have to fight and claw his way back to relevancy, but I do believe those Code stocks, they are worth holding on to just a little bit longer, largely because this is the one time in his life where he is doing something and he is positioned to do something solely of his own free will and not because he's following someone else's orders, someone else's will, because this time his pride's at stake. While he wants the chakra fruit to carry out Ishiki's will, the prospect of being treated like a corner boy who is going to do meetups to move some dime bags, it isn't going to sit as well to him anymore because he's not going to take too well to being bossed around by what he deems as being beings who are beneath him. His conversation with Boruto, where he stubbornly kept referring to the Ten Tails as being mere tools that he could use, objects, that is the key there. Could this be a situation like, say, Madara, who viewed Zetsu in a similar manner? It is very possible. Betrayal and backstabbings, they tend to come from people you don't expect or you don't believe that you're better than. However, with Code, things could be just a little bit different just because of what we've seen with Jura expressing interest in the chakra fruit and wanting it for himself. Either scenario, it works, though if we're being honest here, this works a lot better. So Boruto was informed by Kashin Koji of all these scenarios where Jura was this ultimate threat, this ultimate bad guy, the boogeyman they had to fear, and that is something that's likely going to remain to be the case. But he was also informed of how there are multiple possible outcomes where Code was the victor. None of these other timelines ever came to be because different directions and different decisions are being made, even though we have Boruto walking down the path that Kashin Koji stated would be the worst possible timeline where Boruto does save Sasuke, but it results in Jura killing him, and that's the outcome Boruto and Kashin Koji, they're working to prevent. As the trope with these types of powers tends to go, when you have one major event that occurs and you change it, there's usually a balance that occurs where there's an unexpected turn of events and seeds might have been planted. Now that the one thing Boruto said could never happen, Kashin Koji being alive, has been figured out by Amado, it could start a ripple effect, and one of the beneficiaries of that ripple effect could be Code if we look at how all of this is shaking up. 3 young boys, each with the Karma Seal, each who represent different aspects of Buddhism. There might be a deeper connection there with each of them now that we've hit this part of the story, just as there are deeper aspects of the chapter that this chapter 15 review on the left side of the screen breaks down. So click here to watch the review if you haven't already, or click here on the right for this new video from my Anime Explained channel where I discuss non-Naruto content.